everyone to a new YouTube video, and this video is actually the first episode of a mini-series called How to Get Stronger. Just to explain it very shortly, every 4 or 5 weeks I'm gonna post a new YouTube video, and it's gonna be an episode on how to get stronger, meaning it's gonna be a tip that you can use that will help you in your journey to get stronger in the gym. So basically, like I said, every 4 or 5 weeks there will be a new episode, and this is just the first episode. And you may wonder, why do you have to wait 5 weeks until the next episode? Well, first of all, just to be honest, I am a full-time online coach, and I also am an elite level powerlifter. That is a lot, and all of my time that is not into powerlifting training goes mostly into just helping the clients that I have that I'm coaching to become stronger. So I am a coach, that is my full-time job that I'm doing 6 times a week. So my main focus is there. However, I want to help as many people as possible to get stronger, which is why I still want to do these YouTube videos to give you value that you can use to get stronger. And it's also something that my clients as well can take part of to become better. But that's also why I can't focus on making one YouTube video every 4 days or every week or every other week, but I will set a time of 4 to 5 weeks that I will put down time to actually do a quality YouTube video with a good idea of what to actually give you in value so that you actually can learn and become better. So that's the point of this series, to help you get tips on how to get stronger. Now, episode number 1 today is gonna be the 5 pillars of strength. And it's quite straightforward. It's the 5 pillars of strength. So when it comes to getting stronger, I like to break it down into 5 pillars. And you can think about these 5 pillars as, let's say you have a temple with a roof on top, and you have 5 pillars. If you have 5 really strong pillars, yes, your roof is gonna be really stable. It's not gonna fall, the temple is not gonna crumble. But let's say you remove 1 pillar. Yes, the roof, if the 4 remaining pillars are strong, the roof and the temple may still remain. However, if the more pillars that you get rid of, or the less pillars that you have, and also the weaker the pillars are, the more likely it is that the temple is gonna crumble faster.
Oh no, it's okay. Hey, whoa! Hang on, Pop. Be right back. Oh no! Watch out!
Or it's never gonna get to the point where it's as strong. So this means that if you focus on all of these 5 pillars and you nail and commit to every one of them, you are 100% gonna get stronger and make progress. Now, if your goal isn't to, for example, become a world champion and the best ever, strongest ever, then your pillars may not have to be super strong, but it is an important thing to have as many pillars as possible and have them as strong as you possibly can to make progress in the gym. And I am in this video gonna explain what the pillars are, and so that in the first episode today that you can get aware of these 5 pillars. And then in the upcoming episodes, I'm gonna deep dive into different parts of each pillar. So for example, I can deep dive into mindset and motivation in one of the episodes and give you cues on how to build motivation or set up goals or build discipline, etc. But today you need to become aware of the pillars, because if you're not even aware of the pillars that you have, you're never gonna have a strong temple and you're never gonna make progress. And imagine just having 1 weak pillar, there's never gonna be any strength gains. And this is why if you go into the gym and you just think, okay, I'm gonna get stronger, I start gym training, but you don't know how to do, or what to focus on, and let's say you go into the gym and you only lift dumbbells, then you're not gonna get stronger, because it's basically like you just have 1 really weak pillar and that can't hold a temple. So think about your strength as a temple, and you want to build a strong foundation. Now, what these 5 pillars of strength is mindset, technique, recovery, training programming or training structure, if you will, and technique. These are the 5 pillars of strength. If you're aware of all of these and you nail all of these, you're gonna get stronger. And even if, let's say you eat kind of good, you have a kind of good mindset, you have a kind of good program for you, you have a kind of good technique, and your recovery is kind of good, then you are gonna get stronger. You are, but you're gonna hit a roof sometime. So if you're just focusing on that, you're gonna get stronger and you will definitely feel better. So if you're one of those people who just want to, let's say you just want to tone up, you want to make more progress in your training because it's fun, you like being strong, you want to increase the weights, but you don't have like a specific goal about it, that it's really, really important for you, but you just want to make some kind of progress, more progress than you are today. Focusing on these 5 pillars, improving them a little, and just making sure, okay, you have each pillar at least. You're not like completely screwing up your recovery, but doing everything else, but everything is kind of good. Then you are gonna make progress. And if you want to become better, even better, then it's simple. Improve and nail the 5 pillars, make them as strong as possible. Now, walking through these 5 pillars and giving you a short overview of what they mean so that you can become more aware of them, and even today, before the next episode, start improving the pillars on your own. So, first pillar that we're gonna walk through today is gonna be technique. And why I chose technique first is just because, okay, let's just say you have the best program in the world. Your mindset is absolutely on point. Your nutrition is super good. Your recovery is nailed down to the minute. And then your technique sucks. Your technique is really bad. It's not controlled, it's not stable, you're like Bambi on ice. Then you're not gonna get stronger, or you're gonna injure yourself, or risk is like throwing strength out the window. This is why technique is an important factor to start with. It doesn't have to be super hard or crazy though, but you want to start with technique. And when I say technique, you have to first of all think about how do you improve your technique. And this is the tricky part. It doesn't work to look at 10 different YouTube videos on how to perform an exercise. If you've never seen, or if you don't even know what a squat is, then yes, you have to watch a demonstration video to get a good idea of what is the squat and what am I supposed to think about in the beginning. And then a demonstration will help you get started, but it's not gonna help you optimize your technique. And this is because each and everyone's body is unique. Everyone is different. Now, there is a lot of people that can use the same cues and almost the same technique, but still, if you really analyze these person's techniques, they're still gonna look slightly different because you're different in height, body structure, bone mass, where you're stronger, where you're weaker. Mindset can even play a factor where you just feel more comfortable. So sometimes a technique may look bad, but it's actually good for you. And this is why if you just look at a demo video and you just follow that, first of all, if you just follow it and think that you're following the demo video to an exact, and you have no idea or never look at yourself, never film yourself when you're doing it, you don't actually know. Because a lot of people I know, they've been looking at so many guides on what to do for years on end, and I used to do this and think that my technique is good because of that, because I know. And then they would send me videos, I would see their technique and it would be like, no, this isn't good, because they think it's good, but you don't really know until you actually film yourself. And this is why filming yourself is the key to improving your technique. So what I mean here is basically just, hold on a sec. I don't have my phone here because I don't use my phone during the day. But let's just say you have your water bottle and you place your phone like this towards it, and then you just make sure you're somewhere in the frame. So it doesn't have to be an Instagram fancy video, and when you just place it to your water bottle or something, no one is gonna really see that you're filming. And it doesn't have to be a fancy video, just as long as you're somewhere in the frame and you can see what you're doing, you are gonna make better progress and you're gonna be able to see your own technique. then first what you can do is you can see, okay, the demo video that I watched, am I actually doing what it says, first of all, and see how does that feel for me. And then if you don't have a coach helping you with your technique, because having a coach, you can't send 1 to 2 videos each and every session of every compound exercise, because obviously we're talking about getting stronger in squat, bench, deadlift here. And so you're aware, and you can send videos and they're gonna give you feedback on technique based on your body, so you can work on it, you can film again, check if you actually adapted that feedback, if it feels better for you, tell coach how did it feel, send them a new video, they'll tell you, okay, you got it, next, now let's work on this, or no, you didn't get it, keep trying, and then you can get like feedback if you're actually improving your technique. So that's gonna save you a lot of time. But if you don't have a coach and maybe you can afford one, you don't know who to choose, anything like that, either way, if what you can do is just film yourself the same manner. So filming yourself, even if you have a coach, is a key factor. And if you have a coach, make sure they're actually gonna look at your technique and help you with your techniques, because it's so important if you want to get stronger. If you want to get stronger and you have a program or a coach and no one can give you feedback on your technique, that's not gonna be the best thing. But if you're on your own, I would choose 5 to 10 different lifters with that's really good at squatting, for example. I would look literally at, even if you don't wanna be a world champion, let's just say if someone is a world champion in squatting, they're good at squatting. They know how to squat, especially if they have like a world record or something, they know how to squat, and they're also gonna know how to perform, how to accumulate as much power into the squat as possible and not risk injury in the same manner. So look at like 5 world record squat holders in different weight classes, whatever, just find them, lifters, maybe someone you're inspired by, look at their technique, and then try to mimic it to every single detail. So use shoes, let's say you choose, I just pick, like literally coming up with a fancy name here, Agda. You found Agda, and Agda has a good technique. You're really inspired by her. She has a world record, let's say. You mimic her technique. You try to make your body, when you're squatting, to look exactly like hers, and you keep trying and looking at the videos until you get it. Now, once you've gotten it, it may not feel as good either way, it may not feel like perfect, but you're gonna have learned some new things. I can promise you that. Then you choose a new lifter, you do the same thing. Let's say you choose Gustav, and then you do the same thing. You mimic his technique and you perform the same. I would recommend though, try to find lifters sort of your body type. That's gonna help, but still try different kinds of techniques. And when you've tried and managed to mimic 5 or 10 different lifters' technique to every detail, then you're gonna notice that either you find one technique that feels perfect for you, then stick with that, then that's what works for your body. Or maybe let's say you like the idea of pushing your hips back and sitting back with them first and having your head looking forward or tilted down, but you don't like the stance that lifter has. So maybe you widen your stance a little bit like another one had, and you brace differently, for example. And then by doing this, you're gonna learn what works for you and what doesn't work. This obviously is a lot of trial and error, which is why I said a coach, first of all, can help the most, because obviously it's gonna be a shortcut to knowing what you have to work on, and you can just do it and stop thinking. But if you're alone, this is actually what I did in the beginning. I had a really, really good coach, but I didn't have the same kind of feedback on my technique. So I did a lot of that on my own, and I just looked and mimicked. That's why I made progress pretty fast when I started powerlifting, but also why I kind of stagnated a little bit, why it took some time to get a good technique. It took me probably I would say 4 years to actually get a technique where I felt could stay consistent in my technique and confident. So sometimes I would try a new technique and PR, but then after a while it wouldn't feel so strong. I couldn't stay consistent, which caused me to not make the same fast progress. If I had just been consistent on technique in the beginning, I would probably be even further in my journey now than I am. But just because I learned a lot, that's actually why I'm a coach today, because I think I mimicked thousands of different techniques, and I've seen so many different techniques. I've seen different body types, what can work, and I can make those analyzations right now because I learned so much. So even if you have an idea of becoming a coach in the future, that can really help because you're gonna learn a lot. So that's just the thing about techniques. Those are two ways to learn what technique works for your body specifically. It's gonna help. And if you have a good technique foundation, then you are automatically gonna get and feel more confident. You're gonna be more consistent, and the training program is gonna work better. And you can know when is it that your technique, for example, is the reason that you're missing a lift, or when is it just because you're tired and fatigued, for example, and you just need to take a step back and go easier in your training. Which actually brings us to pillar number 2. Pillar number 2 is training programming. And this is, like, I will make probably a lot of in-depth videos on programming because it's a jungle on how to program your training. And there's a lot of things going on. For example, your training tolerance, your height, your body structure, how strong you are, what weights you lift, what's your body weight, and your age, and also, of course, like, how does your daily life situation look? Do you have a lot of stress? Do you have very little stress? Do you have any kind of diseases or other things? Like, there's a lot of things going on that can really change and affect the programming. But what I wanted to say here today for you when explaining this pillar is you have to have a plan, and you have to believe in your plan. So you can't just go in and change what you're doing all the time. When I started training, I used to change around my programming every single week, which is also why I didn't get any results. I changed my exercises every week, and you don't have to shock the muscle to make progress, honestly. So I'd recommend make a plan. If you have a coach, they're gonna make this for you. You don't have to think about it, and then it's probably gonna be made for you, especially if you have a good coach. But either way, if you're doing it on your own, you have to have a plan. Make a plan for 4 weeks. 4 weeks at least, maybe it's 5-6 weeks, but stick to it for 4 to 6 weeks at least. Sometimes you'll have to make a plan for 8 weeks, 12 weeks even, if it in that way, but at least just follow it a minimum for 4 weeks. And then follow up with like a lighter week, easy training, like a deload week is what we call it, just so that you can actually recover from your training. So implementing easier weeks here and there is gonna help you recover. So it goes into the 3rd pillar, but I'm gonna explain more about recovery soon. But basically it's having a plan, sticking to it, and sticking to it for a period that's long enough for you to make progress. If you change around your exercises every single week, you're not gonna be able to have any kind of progression in your exercises. You have to do the same exercises for a long period or a long enough time, and 4 weeks is usually the minimum to actually make some kind of progression. So always have a plan in your training, but also you want to stick to it and believe in it. And why I say believe in it is because there is literally a factor where just trusting and believing the program can make it work better. So if you have a program that's the best program in the world, although this is individual, so it doesn't exist, the best program doesn't really exist, but let's just say we've got the best program ever existed. It's gonna work for every single person out there, but you don't believe in it. You hate it, you don't like it, you don't believe in it, you don't understand it, and you think it's shit. Then it's gonna work shit as well. Like, you may make some kind of progress, but usually it's not gonna work because you're not gonna have any effort or focus into your training session because you're not gonna believe that it works. And quality beats quantity. Quality is key when it comes to training and getting stronger as well. So if you believe in it, let's say you have the worst program, it's so simple, it's so like B program, it's not even made for you, it's shit, let's say, but you 100% believe in it. You think that it's gonna work. You like every session. You're going with quality effort every session, thinking you're getting stronger. That's gonna affect your mindset, and that's gonna why mindset as well is also a pillar. I'm gonna go into that as well. But that is why it may work better for you than the best program. So creating a plan based on you, sticking to it, and then believing in it. And I'm gonna make a longer video in one of the upcoming episodes. I can't tell you when yet. Like I said, 1 episode every 5 weeks. But I am in that video gonna explain more about when do you implement light weeks, how do you do that, how do you maybe factor in your training based on your recovery levels, age, height, etc. And that's like a super long video, and there's probably like 10 different videos on each and everything. So you can drop a comment below and ask me what do you think is, or let me know what you think is the hardest part when making a plan. That will help me make these videos more to what you think or want to know first. Either way, having a plan is key. Having a structure, not just going on how you feel on the day, just like, I don't know, just going in and going through the motions. That's not gonna necessarily work, but also believing in it. And also, why a plan is good is so that you can implement lighter weeks so that you can recover well, which is the third pillar, recovery. When it comes to strength training and training overall, it's never about how hard you can train. I can promise you, you can be David Goggins and push through so hard you don't even believe it. But that's not gonna necessarily make you the progress that you want. So what I mean is, you can push your training and your body way more than you think. It's like you have a central governor in your head that's stopping you from doing more, but you can't actually push yourself more. However, training and strength is what you can recover from. So sometimes you can push your body to an absolute limit every single session, but what that's gonna lead to eventually is you can't recover from it, and that's gonna lead to overtraining. And overtraining, when you get into it deep, I've been there, it can take 5-6 weeks to recover from, and it's not a nice place to be in, and it's also where you risk injury. When you train, especially when you train heavy, you accumulate a lot of fatigue in your body, and this fatigue is making you weaker and weaker and weaker. So unless you give yourself time to recover from that fatigue, you're not gonna build up and get stronger. As you may already know, during the session that you're doing, you're breaking down muscle tissue. During the session that you have, you're actually getting weaker. It's when we rest that we build up and get stronger. And 2 days of rest is usually like not enough. That's why I said implementing lighter weeks. When and how often you do that, when you do lighter days, that's gonna be based on you. For example, for me, my bench press gets shit if I go heavy 3 times a week. But if I go sorta heavy, and then super, super easy, and then mid heavy, then it's like always, it works really, really well. But as soon as I have that middle session, I go a little bit heavier, then I'm screwed for the rest of the week and the rest of the sessions. So I know that that's how my fatigue works and how I need to do. And that's something that, again, it's based on you, age, how strong you are, how heavy you're lifting, body type, stress factors in your daily life, etc., how you eat, sleep, all of those things. But this is why recovery is important, and recovery is also going to be different kinds of videos. It could be sleep, it could be like blood flow, active recovery, all of these things, mental recovery even as well. But just remember that training is what you can recover from. So when it comes to making your plan and programming, you can't just think about how hard you can push yourself, because I promise you can push yourself more than what you can recover from usually, because we have that central governor stopping us from actually pushing to our fullest. So you have more in you, but it doesn't mean that you should always go and squeeze out the last rep, going to failure all the time. So try to just think about that. What can you recover from, and how do you improve on your recovery? Because if your recovery is better, then you can also train more and harder. If your recovery is worse, then you'll have to train easier and lighter. And this is why, for example, age can factor in, because as we age, our recovery usually gets worse, which means we may not be able to train like we did when we were 20. We have to maybe change that. So you have to balance those things out. If you can improve your recovery, you're probably gonna be able to improve your training, but try to keep it in a balance. Don't try to go okay, recover up here and training too light, because then you're not gonna make progress. Let's say you don't dare to increase the weights. Well, then that's not gonna matter. If you, for example, train too hard, but your recovery is down here, then eventually you're just gonna get weaker and weaker and weaker. And your recovery is usually gonna get worse as well. Not a good thing. So that's recovery. Again, I'll make more videos on how to improve your recovery, because there's a lot of different things, but either way, it's one of those things that really matter. Now, the fourth pillar is also a little bit based on recovery, but also of course performance, and it's gonna be nutrition. So what I mean here is, obviously nutrition comes down to macronutrients, micronutrients, like what macros do you get? Do you get enough vitamins and minerals? And macros, do you get enough protein? Do you get the right amount of fat, enough carbs, all of those things, but mainly just eating enough. So that's another completely different video. Again, all of these things are. But as long as you can just make sure you become a little bit better all the time, and you make sure you just eat enough, it's gonna make a difference. And you can think about it like this: if you eat like a chicken, it'll become a chicken. If you eat like a boar or a lion, you're gonna become a boar or a lion. So just think about that a little bit. Eat enough. So if you're one of those, this is very common. I coach a lot of women over 40, over 50, and a lot of them has, when we want to tone up our bodies, has done these crazy low carb diets before, and they're not gonna work on getting stronger or even toning up. And a lot of people that, especially around that age, think they need to eat like 1,200, 1,300, 1,500 calories a day, and they're really low on everything, and it's not healthy and not sustainable, and that is why you don't get results. So if you want to get stronger, first of all, make sure you're eating enough, and don't be scared to eat more. You'll have more power in training, so that will be fuel for your training. Don't be scared to eat, and definitely don't be scared to eat carbs. Again, there are different ways to optimize your food for performance as well, but like, this is the first thing, like, focus on eating enough and getting enough in, and like, stop eating 1,200 or 1,500 calories like a 5-year-old, because then it's like eating like a chicken. You're gonna become a chicken. So think about that. Now, the last pillar is mindset. Obviously, this matters a lot, and mindset is also a ton of different videos. You know, there's the struggling with motivation, for example, is getting motivation. Also, how do you build the discipline to actually do the work all the time? How do you build the discipline and motivation to actually focus and give effort into your sessions? And how do you believe in yourself? How do you dare to increase the weights? There's a lot of things going on in here. And what you struggle with is obviously dependent on yourself as well, but just thinking about mindset matters. I'm gonna make more videos about this, but think about it, mindset matters. And most importantly, you have to think about it like mindset can have a few different pillars. I'm gonna go into each of them in detail, but discipline, you have to have discipline to actually do the work. And intrinsic motivation, or having a goal or purpose that motivates you to do it, that's going to help with discipline, for example. And belief in yourself that you can accomplish what you do. If you don't even believe it yourself, or believe in yourself, then you're not going to get stronger. So having belief that you can do it, and also being able to push and challenge yourself, these are like the things that really build up your mindset. And there's so many ways, like which mindset to have, difference from person to person. You know, some people going into the gym, they have to think about killing someone because they have to get really dark inside their mind as well to actually be able to like lift heavy shit. And some people, like me, I can go in like listening to teddy bear songs or Disney music or something, and I just have to be like super calm and kind and loving and grateful when I go and train instead. So it's gonna different from person to person. So I'm gonna make more videos as well about how to get better at believing in yourself, how to get better at challenging yourself, how you can build more discipline, etc. But for now, just know mindset matters, and try to review yourself. When it comes to your mindset, what's your weaknesses? Is it that you don't believe in yourself? Is it that you're very uncertain? Is it that you have a hard time increasing the weights? Or maybe are you an ego lifter who's always going heavy all the time, and your mindset is that, for example, you're afraid that if you don't go heavy enough, you will lose. Maybe you compare yourself a lot to others. Just try to review your mental weaknesses and think about ways to improve them. And that's an important key of getting stronger, just being able to look inside. And again, if you don't want to become the strongest ever who's ever lived, for example, you just want to get stronger for yourself, still, mindset can really help to get your training going, make it more fun, and it's definitely gonna show off not only in the gym and the weights that you do, but in everyday life. Like what I've done in powerlifting these last 5 years, 6 years, since going from an eating disorder, literally hating my body, hating my life, hating myself, to loving myself, having tons of energy, no eating disorder thoughts ever again, and like just loving my body, loving my strength. It's what allowed me to dare pursue my dream of becoming a coach, for example, as well. it's made such an impact in my entire life. I'm calmer, you know. Sometimes I can go around, I can feel really stressed, and I just know, you know, when I'm underweight, I can stick through this. I can be in this feeling, so you can be in this feeling now as well. You know, it can really have a good impact in other areas of your life too. So try to think about that as well. You know, those are the 5 pillars of strength: mindset, technique, training programming or training structure, nutrition, and recovery. If every one of these are nailed to absolutely as much as possible, then yes, you're gonna make a lot of progress and get stronger. You don't have to maybe go all in on everything if you don't want to compete. You don't have to, like, you know, throw away everything else in your life, but every single person can eat a little bit better, have a plan in the gym, because if you have a plan in the gym, you're gonna save a lot of time, so you're gonna have to give less time. You can save more time from training and get more, do other things as well. If your mindset is better in the gym, not only in the gym, it's gonna be better in everyday life. You're gonna have more energy, be a happier person. If you, well, that's the same thing, as well as if you get stronger, you're gonna feel more confident in everyday life as well. And you know, if you recover better, you're not only gonna have more energy for training and make better progress in the gym, you're also gonna have more energy to everyday life. So these are 5 pillars of strength, but they can also be 5 pillars of life. So try to think about that. That is episode number 1. And I also want to say, if you are interested in coaching and would like to know more about how we coach, you can click the link below in the description to schedule a free consultation call. In the call, we will go over everything about your situation so that we can see if we can help you with your goals. And then you get information about how the coaching works, etc. So the call is not binding. You don't have to make have to decide or to start the coaching just because you have the call, but so you get more information and then you can decide if you're interested. The next episode is going to come out in 4 to 5 weeks. Like I said, it's going to be tips all on one pillar. So it can be, for example, tips on how to recover better, and I may dive into massage pistols. I don't know, maybe. Or it can just be daily walks, or it can be mindset and how to build up your motivation, how to set goals, etc. That's it for this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, you can just let me know in the comment section what you liked. If you want to subscribe, you can do so. That's up to you. I just hope this video helped you and that you got something from it and that you will use it to become stronger. So let's get stronger together. Have a great one.